Hello Cancer, thank you so much for joining me. If you're returning to watch my videos, thank you for coming back. Please don't forget to like. If you are a new person coming to join me, I hope you enjoy this general reading. It may apply to you or it could apply to somebody else that you're close to at this time. But either way, I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I have basically shuffled the cards already, and I work with the 12 houses of the zodiac. So as the cards are appearing in each house, then those are the influences that are coming to bear at this time. If you have strong influences in your chart, your birth chart associated with another sign, then please feel free to cross-watch to my other videos for further insights. So for the month ahead, the first house, we have Black Moon Lilith Mystery. First house is everything to do with yourself, your actual appearance, your first impressions. I'm talking about how other people are going to perceive you from a personality and a characteristic point of view. It's also your self-oriented interests. It's your physical body. So how you are making your way in the world, how you project yourself outward to others, how they perceive you. This is all covered by the first house. So now, with Black Moon Lilith Mystery coming in there, this card covers basically the darker feminine. So it's almost like the inner witch, if you want to call it that. So now, whether you're male or female, you will always have a feminine side. So this is the darker face of the feminine, but it's also about standing firm. It's about possibly going it alone, being an individual. This card also has the air of seduction and secret power to it. And it could even be some kind of affair happening, or perhaps you're involved in something like that, or you're seeing it in your environment. But this card also is about feminine strength and command. So it's using that secret power to actually discern certain things. There may be undercurrents going on in your environment, which you're picking up on. So it's that little bit of mystery. You're sensing something. The other side of it is also the darker feminine, which is also, it covers feelings of bitterness and revenge or anger. So these sorts of emotions, if they're not dealt with and healed or exercised in a healthy way, they kind of go inward and then they fester. And then they can bubble over. So it's about you may be feeling that way about certain issues. You may have just had some kind of altercation in your environment, or you may just be perceived as being sort of having sort of deeper emotions which you're struggling to control at this time. It could just be something that's happened in your environment which has caused this. You could also be feeling rebellious at this time. But it's secret dark emotions which are swirling around and just need to be managed really at this time. Then in your second house, you have Grand Trine Blessing. So it's a lovely card coming in for you. This is in your second house. Second house is everything to do with your money and income. It's also to do with your possessions and your whatever you own, your ownership of things. It can be real estate, property. It's also your self-worth and your value system. So now, with this card coming in here, it is bringing in blessings for you. So primarily to do with money, it's a really good time to ask for a raise or a loan, or for to increase your income in relation to what you've been putting out. Possibly you feel you just need to increase that. But you'll be well received either way, however you go about it. This brings in sort of easy flow, sort of a harmonious time, almost right place, right time as well. You may also be feeling sort of a feeling of completion, or like blocks that you have faced have been lifted away at this time. You've also got to keep the Wheel of Fortune turning with this card, because it can make you a little bit complacent, or just to be so enjoying the flow and whatever that you're just drifting along. You can't coast with this. You still need to keep your hand on the wheel and steer in the direction of what it is that you want. It's also about following opportunities that come to you, because blessings are coming in. So it may be an opportunity of some sort, or there could be a variety of opportunities coming for you. Not all of them will be exactly what you want, but you need to explore them all and actually follow up and see what's going to work for you. But in any case, you will be well received, and there is a sense of flow and harmony with us around. Then we go to the third house. This is the house of communication. It's the house of documents and contracts as well, and short journeys. The third house, when it comes to communication, it covers all forms of communication. So it's not only verbal, it's written, it's body language. It's really how you express yourself in all different ways. So now with the South Node life states coming in, this is about putting the past to bed. This is about dealing with your karmic, whatever you've brought in with you in this lifetime, putting old issues away so that you can actually move forward, because you need to move forward to get onto the path that you want to for this lifetime. So if you're not into the reincarnation and lifetime theory, then it's really about dealing with old issues. So this is baggage that needs to be dropped, or old ways and habits of communication must be released so that you can move forward. Because it's only when you do that that the doors open for you. They won't at the moment, because you've still got work to do. So you need to really do some serious self-examination, have a good long hard look at what's not working for you, how you express yourself, how you make your way in the world. The third house also covers neighbors, and it covers certain family members like siblings, aunts and uncles and cousins. So you may be having interactions or some kind of issue with any one of those people, even a neighbor. Neighbors come in as well. So it's something to do with it could be something to do with that, and you just need to put these matters to bed now. It's deal with what is unresolved or unfinished. And during this period, you may just really feel out of your comfort zone. Once you're dropping that baggage, or once you're dealing with those issues, you will feel out of your comfort zone. This will force you out of that. But when you do that, you start to make new contacts as well. So this could be in your general work environment, how you're expressing yourself, or how you're just expressing yourself with others in general. You may be forced somehow to let go of old ways of doing things, old habits, and actually make a fresh start. And when you start doing that, you may meet new contacts, make new friends, or make new sort of connections of some sort. And they could very well be from your soul family. So these could be people who you have an instant connection with. You feel very comfortable with them. You feel like you know them well. The feelings are reciprocated. And there's a kind of like a bonding there in whatever sphere it is. But you feel like you can support each other in whatever it is that you're doing. So this brings in basically a fresh start, but there's a bit of turmoil while you let go of all the unnecessaries in the pursuit of that. You've got to let go of doubts and whatever is holding you back. And if it's a very old issue, you need to address it and let go of it now. It's basically a wake-up call as well. Then in the fourth house, we have Pisces, I believe. So the fourth house is everything to do with your home, your actual physical home, but it's also to do with your home environment and what's going on in the home, the feelings in the home. And it's also to do with your relationship with your ethnic identity, or where you come from, your foundation, your family roots, your family tree, that kind of thing, whatever foundation you rose from. It's all the issues around that as well. So with Pisces, I believe, coming in, it can bring in several things for you. It can bring in a bit of faith and trust, or maybe you need to have faith and trust in what is going on in your home environment at this time, or your relationship with your identity. Faith and trust in yourself, possibly, or just faith and trust in your that things will get better, or that things are going to improve. And it's also just a surrender to what is. So whatever's going on, it's kind of a surrender to that. It's just accepting that this is the way things are going to be for the moment, and that you will just be moving forward on that. It could also just be simply that you are going through a really sensitive phase at this time, and You're getting a lot of inspiration, your imagination has been activated, and your artistic sensitivities have been activated. So this could be in the home. Perhaps you work from home, perhaps you're an artist, or perhaps you have people coming into your home who are going to activate that for you, or you're seeing it in them. So it's really it's a lovely energy to be reaching for, because it's almost a connection to the divine as well. On the flip side of that, you have the other side of Pisces, which can bring in a bit of confusion, a bit of uncertainty. It also can bring in feelings of your boundaries are not strong enough, or they've been transgressed in some way. So avoiding being a doormat, or setting boundaries in place with the people that are in your home environment. So you could also just be pulled under by other people's complications at this time, and then you just need to withdraw. You need to withdraw and spend some time in reflection and a bit of solitude to just recenter yourself again. So have a place in your home, or some perhaps in your garden, or just somewhere where you can actually do that, to retreat and withdraw. There may also be some things in your home which are just not clear. Things that there's just something's not clear to you 100%, or there could be covert things going on. There may even be a bit of victim consciousness as well. Perhaps you have a person in your home who is suffering from that and spreading it around to other members of the household. There can be addictions as well, or just some kind of substance abuse, anything like that. On a really practical level can actually just be water in the home. So water issues, so whether it's pipes or plumbing or flooding, or just some kind of water issue in the home which is going to need to be dealt with. Then in the 5th house we have Mars force. So with this coming in, it can have a variety of effects for you. The 5th house covers children, so either your children or children that you are associated with. And if that's not applicable for you, then it also covers, it's a house of creativity, your creative side and your creative projects. And that's not necessarily artistic. That can be creative in all ways, all different ways. You can be a creative cook, or a creative writer, or just creative in the way you do your interiors and so on. So then the other options that are covered by the 5th house is it's also the house of love affairs, and it's the house of all kinds of recreational activities. So this is having fun. It can even be sports. So it's all recreational activities of all kinds. So now with the Mars force coming in, again, there's two different sides to this, but generally you may have something that you need to fight for, whether it's on behalf of your children, or if you're you're seeing that your children may have to do this, but it could be connected somehow. So it's something to fight for. So this is possibly to do with children, or it could be to do with a creative project. It could also be you could be fighting for a love affair, for something in the love affair, or you may have to compete in a love affair, or for the attentions of this person. But whatever it will be be very hot attraction, a very sort of lustful attraction. Whether it will burn out quickly or not is in your hands. But it could also be something that you've actually really got to try. You've really got to reach for. It could also be something that you've got to fight for when it comes to an activity of some sort. Perhaps it's a sporting activity, or something that you really want to do, and you just need the freedom and the time to do that. So that's kind of fighting for that. It's something that you want to do. You've really got to clear your decks. You've got to clear your schedule, or maybe you've got to free yourself from a busy home situation to give you time to go for that. But it's your time off. It's your recreational time. You're having fun time. It's your time out. So however that applies for you. As I said, it could be a competition of some sort coming in, or there's a challenge for either for your children or for yourself, or both of you together, or it could be in a love affair, as I said. But in all cases, it's about taking measured but direct action. So you may have to be very quick and move after what you want, but this is measured and direct action. There's no nonsense. There's no flights of fancy. This is going after exactly what you want. You're sort of driven to act. You move ahead quickly. It's fiery passion, whether that's in a love affair, or it's a project, or you're doing this on behalf of your children, or you're seeing your children have to go through this. But it really is putting the passion gets lit up, and then you go for it. Go for what you want, or your children must go for what you want. Then in the 6th house, we have Grand Cross Provoker. So this is brings in quite a tense energy, and this is coming into your 6th house, which is the house of work, work colleagues, the workplace, and it's any kind of work project that you might be doing, not necessarily in a workplace, but any kind of work project. It's also the house of mastery of your craft, so whatever it is that you do. It's the house of daily routines as well, so it's daily routines associated with that, and also to do with health and diet. So health and diet's a big part of this, and it's also the house of pets, pets that you own or pets that you're in contact with. Now, with Grand Cross Provoker coming in, what it will do is it will just put you under a bit of pressure. You may be juggling lots of different things at the same time and basically getting nowhere with any of them because you've just got your energy is spread too thin. You could be pulled in different directions and just not feel like you're making much progress. So it's quite a frustrating or exasperating time. You may really want to move forward on certain things and you simply cannot because it's a very demanding and intense time and your energies are spread too thin. So this card requires quite a lot of discipline. It requires basically prioritizing. You need to really prioritize what is the most important to be doing, and then you need to focus on those things one at a time. You also need to communicate with the others around you about what it is that needs to be done. So think about that. You may encounter resistance as well with whatever it is you're trying to push forward. So it's just a general feeling of pressure and a bit of juggling and stress going on, just too much going on at once. So you need to really prioritize and focus on those specific items. When it comes to your health and diet, it could just be that you may be a little bit stressed or overwrought, or just, like I said, too many things going on at once. So then you need to, take steps to guard your health. Make sure that you're sleeping well and that your daily routines are not so out of whack that you're basically not eating properly or you're just not sticking with your normal routines. Try your very best to maintain that, to keep yourself in an even keel so that you don't, fall under too much pressure and it starts to affect your health at the same time. Then in the 7th house, we have Moon Soul. So when it comes to the 7th house, this is everything to do with your relationships. This is your close personal one-on-one relationships. It's a love relationship, or it's a business partnership, or it's somebody else, but it's a close personal one-on-one relationship. And the 7th house, so it covers all of those, but it really is in connection with this, it's about listening to yourself. How do you feel? So being a Cancerian, this is really, you're going to be in touch with this in any case because you're ruled by the moon. So aspects of this are going to resonate with you in any case, but you just may need a reminder when it comes to that. It could also be that you are in a really deep love relationship with somebody, and it's all the intensity of that. Or it could just be, as I said, with a business partnership, but it's about using your intuition. You're going to be feeling really sensitivity. Emotions will be high, so emotional. It's also about your habits, your personal emotional habits, or the person that you're involved with. And habits came up earlier on as well, about just thinking about that. If you are in a love relationship, it could be that you are intensely shy, and that needs to be addressed now within this relationship. Or it could just be that you're feeling a little bit uncertain. There may be hidden messages, or there may be parts of the relationship which are not clear for you. So there's uncertainty. And the moon loves to make you feel safe. And where your moon is, that's where you feel safe. It's where you go to relax and enjoy yourself. So with the moon in this house, you want to feel safe. You want to feel that you can just be yourself, and that you are in touch with your inner self. So, this is a deep relating with a love partner, or if it's a business partnership, then it's really about finding that emotional space for each of you so that you can move the relationship forward. The moon can also bring in crowds and fame as well. So you may be dealing with that in relation to, in your relationship. Perhaps one of you is in that situation and it's dealing with all of that that's coming into your relationship. And being amongst too many people sometimes can muddy the waters, and perhaps you just need to get in contact and spend time alone together to reconnect and to get into the same emotional flow. But there will always be cycles and fluctuations, so you've just got to ride those waves. Your dream life may be very important at this time as well. The past also may come up with this card, and it can also bring people from the past back in as well. Could be an ex-partner or an ex-lover. Something may come up as well for you. The other side of this is perhaps with the relationship is too much. It's you're too close and you're not giving each other enough space. There may be a bit of clinging or smothering going on, so think about that as well. But it's almost like being too sort of addicted to the person or addicted to something in the relationship. So give each other space if that is required. But if you are spending too much time with others and you need to get space, well, then that's the alternative aspect of it. But it's about riding the cycles and fluctuations and getting in touch with your deep emotions as well. Then in the 8th house, we have Mercury Mind. So the 8th house is the next level for a love relationship or a business partnership. It's the joining or the merging of your physical and emotional and your material resources. So it's the deeper sexuality, or it could just be your financial aspects that you're joining, or your possessions, but it's the material and emotional aspects, the joining and the merging of those. The 8th house is also dealing with other people's money. So that you may be in the profession or in a situation where you're dealing with other people's money. It's also the house of big finance. So this is banking, accounting, tax, inheritances, investments, insurance, and legacies, anything like that. So it covers all of those aspects which come in for you, whether you're on your own or whether you're in a combination with somebody else. But it's also dealing with your finance, even if you're not joined with anybody at this time in any kind of relationship and you're literally going it alone, then your finances come in for this. And Mercury Mind is asking you to think before you speak. Your words will be significant, whether it's written or verbal. So you need to be thinking about what it is you want to do from a financial aspect. And you've got grand trine blessings coming into your other money house. So you may be getting money coming into you, and it's about applying that significantly. What do I want to do with this money? How is it going to be? What is the best way to invest it, or what is the best way to deal with it, and so on. It's that kind of energy. Or it's to do with the merging of your finances with another. But really you need to think about it and apply your intellect to whatever it is you're doing. And it's about numbers. It's also about technology. It's about vehicles, electronics. So applying your intellect and your precision to that, really thinking it through, reasoning and perception. It's bringing all those aspects in. On the other hand, it could also be about gossip. You may have gossip coming to you, or there may be some sort of scandal, or you may get involved in that, or you may hear about it. Don't get involved. Just avoid it, because whatever, as I said, whatever you say or do, and it could come up to do with that, will come back at you tenfold. So just stay out of any kind of scandal or gossip, or too much talk about others or about things. As I said, think before you speak. And also, if you're in a tense situation with a significant other and you're trying to make progress with something, just bring in a bit of wit and humor. That really does go a long way to smooth things over and actually clear the air as well, which may be necessary at this time. The other thing to be aware of with Mercury as well, sometimes there can be a little bit of deception going on. So just think about that a little bit, or glibness. Glibness is the other, sort of loose talk or glibness, which sometimes can be offensive to others because it kind of implies that you're not being serious about what needs to be done. So these are all aspects you need to take into consideration. Then we have for the 9th house, we have Pluto transformation, very powerful card again coming in for you. So now the ninth house is, it covers a wide variety of aspects, but it's basically you meeting the world, or the world meeting you in some way. So now with this, it could be international travel. It's also about exploration and adventure. So it's either you interacting with other people from foreign countries or cultures, or you meeting people like this, and it's how you interact with them and how you're learning from them, and or whether it's online or personally. So it could be a sort of an import-export business or whatever it might be. This ninth house also covers further education and study. So this is university level education, so courses that you want to study, or it could be adult education. It's about the gaining of wisdom. It's also about philosophy, religion, and belief systems. That's all covered by this the ninth house. It's also the house of teaching and publishing, and promotional work, any kind of promotional work, public relations. It's also the house of in-laws and the house of law itself, the actual law, the higher courts. So with Pluto transformation coming in there, I feel what this is bringing, it's almost, it could be something coming to the surface now, because Pluto does this. Pluto is the lord of the underworld, so something that has been buried or not been seen is now coming to the surface. So this could be simply a passion or a yearning to travel or explore or learn or understand or teach or publish. So it could be a yearning or a passion to do something about that now, to move forward in one of those areas. It's quite an intense feeling. It could also be that something in any one of those areas falls away to make way for something new, or something that died technically, that just fell away, and now something new comes out of the ashes of that. This card, Pluto, can bring in a few power struggles going on. So this might be to do with any one of those areas. Perhaps you're involved with others, whether you're studying something, or it's a course of philosophy you're doing, or it's a religious belief. That could also come in for you. You also, with Pluto at this time, you may see something for what it is. So what you thought was great before actually turns out to be not so great. You're seeing something. You're seeing something differently, and it may be a little bit disappointing for you. Just be careful with your finances at this time, in any one of those areas. And also, Pluto also deals with death, whether it's symbolic or physical as well. So, you may have some issue to do with an inheritance or something like that. You may have to travel to a foreign country to investigate something to do with an inheritance, or there could be some issue around that, or perhaps that's part of your profession. But it's quite an intense time, and it covers basically death and rebirth of something, but also the powerful passions are coming up to the surface to do with certain issues. And when it's in the ninth house, it's usually something to do with international teaching or religion or philosophy. And it covers, it's you meeting the world, or the world coming to you. In the 10th house, we have void of course, moon missing. So the 10th house is everything to do with your career, your ambitions, and what it is you're reaching for, what you look up to. It's the house of authority figures. It's also the house of your fame and your reputation and your public status. So now, with this card coming in at this time, you basically just need to rest right now. This can sort of take place over a 1 to 3 week period. Just see how you feel, follow the energies, but you may just need to rest. If there's been stuff going on, let the storm pass, and let matters settle on their own. So don't take action at the moment, just stay as you are. Avoid new or untried endeavors. The reason why is because things are clouded and quiet at the moment. And if you launch yourself into something that you've been planning, so it's something that you've been planning and you want to put it into action now, you're going to get unexpected results, or nothing conclusive, or it will go awry in some way. And you may have to start over again in some way. So, for instance, if you decide to take a new job, you may take it, and then sometime later you find that a better job, the one that you really want, comes along, and now you have to leave that one and go for the new one. It's that kind of energy. So it's almost like you don't hit your mark with this while this energy is going on. There could also be delays. So things will things will come right. It's just a small period where you just need to lay low for a while and let things pass over and let things settle themselves. You can make plans. There's nothing wrong with making plans at this time, because it's quite a good time for observation and analysis about what you want to do. And then when you feel the energies have improved, then you can take action. But if you try to do it during this period, you may just find that things don't go as planned at all. Then in the 11th house, we have Uranus, genius. So this is a wonderful card to have in some aspects, but it can also be quite an upheaval. But what it is, it's coming in for you in your 11th house, which is the house of your friendships, your social groups, any kind of group situation that you're involved in, whether it's a society or a club or an a sort of a association of some sort. But it can also be online as well. But it's any kind of social group that you're part of, and obviously it affects your friendships. It also affects your ideals and your hopes and dreams for the future, and your personal interests and hobbies. So this house also covers, on a wider scale, it covers social reform and global consciousness. So that may be coming in for you as well, because Uranus is very much that. Uranus is very much, it's a generational planet. So Uranus is the spark of an incredible idea, or it's almost like a bolt of lightning. It's incredible intuition or an idea, or it could just be literally quick and unexpected change coming in, which will shift you in a way which is going to be beneficial. But it's just that initial period feels very much like an upheaval, and you're not quite sure what's going on. So when it comes in for you, you're probably going to be experiencing some kind of awakening or a realization of some sort in any one of those areas. Or it could be a friend of yours that's having this bolt upon them, this bolt of an idea or bolt of lightning that strikes and it turns everything upside down. So you could be experiencing it, or somebody very close to you, a friendship. So it's sudden changes and upheavals. But it's an awakening of some kind. It's going to be unexpected, and it could even be just a sudden realization about something. It's like a jolt. And it pushes you into a new course, or onto a new course. It could be, Uranus is about the future, everything to do with the future. So it could be your futuristic dreams or your ideals about the future. Possibly you suddenly have a realization about something. It also brings in technology of all kinds. It's usually advanced technology, but it could also just be an upgrade from what you've currently been using, or what you've been harnessing in some way. It's a change of that, but it's a move up. It's a change up the scale for you. You could also be meeting cutting-edge people, which is ruled by Uranus. Cutting-edge people, or people of genius ability, or just some of them, they just are incredibly advanced in some way. It can also bring unconventional people, or bohemian people, or people who are just very different from you, whether that's ethnically or their sexual orientation is different from you, but they just are different. And it's your relationship with them, learning from them, your interaction with them in all different ways. And they, it could even be their alternative lifestyle, or you're observing their alternative lifestyle and learning from that. Or it could be, as I said, a friend. You meet somebody who has a friendship, a new friendship coming in, who's embodying all these qualities, and that's very stimulating for you. But it's if it's to do with social reform and global consciousness, well, as I said, the technology may be coming in there, but it's also about social causes and moving those forward. So you may be joining a new group which is involved with that in some way. In the 12th house, we have lunar eclipse, which is change. So the 12th house is the unconscious part of yourself. So this is the deep unconscious self. And it's also the house of retreat and withdrawal. So spending time on your own, or working on your own in certain fields, or it could be meditation. It's also about mysticism and spiritual life and healing. It covers all of that. It's also the other side of it can also be escapism and addictions of all kinds. So whether it's for you or somebody that you're seeing in this situation, it could even be a friendship, or it could be some other situation. Perhaps you work in that field. But it's also your experiences in institutions of all kinds. So this could be a hospital, or a university, or a library, or a government institution, or a banking institution. But with a lunar eclipse change coming in there, this is going to be essential changes coming in for you. So these are going to be very necessary changes, but they're basically unavoidable. And it could be an upheaval of some kind, of an abrupt transformation going on. So whether this is some unconscious issue that's coming to the surface, because this implies that something coming up for you to deal with now, or you just find resolution to something that has been quite deep-seated in you, and you bring it up to the light and you deal with it. But it's a transformation of some kind. It could even just be a new attitude or a new perception which you are now experiencing. But it's a very necessary change. If you're in a relationship, it could be that this relationship is now going to the next level, but it will be a surprise. It will be unexpected. This also brings in endings and beginnings of some sort. So something could end and something new could come in. But in any case, something comes to light as well. Something rises to the surface, and now you can see it in the full light of day, whether it's an unconscious situation that's coming up, some belief or attitude that you've had, or it could be that your partner, now that you're in this relationship with, now suddenly says, I want to do this, let's get married, or whatever, and it comes at you unexpectedly. But this is something that's also been sitting below the surface. You've either not dealt with it, or you just haven't been able to deal with it. So it's something that's been quietly bubbling under the surface, and now it comes up. Now it kind of bubbles over. So it could be that energy as well. It's also about cycles, because it's a moon cycle. So once the upheaval or the change comes about, then it takes place sort of between 6 weeks and 6 months. So you can expect to see this energy coming in for you. Okay, Cancer, I hope you enjoyed that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a wonderful month, and take care, and I will see you again next time.